What's up? So let me do this. I started running this content review and I was like, why not record it? Why not share it? Why not have some fun with it? So let's do it. So as you got used to our content reviews, fundamentally, what I try to do as much as I can is not change the core of the piece, is to take an idea and make it just better, always, within the writing. Because an idea is an idea, you can't really move it as you want to move it. So first things first, what you're gonna realize is showing up strong in public, but you spiral privately. This is one of the greatest problems with people generally, is hooks. Their hooks just don't do what they're supposed to do, which is in the name, hook. Showing up strong in public, but you spiral privately. Now, when you post such a hook, you're gonna realize two things. Some people are gonna resonate, others not. The algorithm is not gonna show it to a lot of people because it's a very niche hook. So if you want your content to resonate but also go a bit broader so more people can see it, go upstream. So I did two hook improvements. One hook improvement is 4 doctors couldn't help him. His life was spiraling privately. This is a curiosity hook. So the people who see it, they're like, oh, what is this? Like, they couldn't help him with what specifically? And then they're gonna read. Second, suffering in silence is too common for us entrepreneurs. I never thought that I'd share this, but here we go. Suffering in silence is too common for us entrepreneurs. Now, you just took an entire market of entrepreneurs who would resonate with it, because this is true. Entrepreneurs feel that they have to hold the weight of the world on their shoulders, and they suffer in silence. So you took two things that are actually very true. One second, let me make this a bit smaller. And you talked about them. So let's keep on moving. Lots of us business owners. So here, the before was just lots of business owners don't want to face their emotions. Whenever you do that, you remove the entire human connection from the piece of content, because lots of us don't want to face our emotions. So me and you, me and the reader, we include each other. We're sitting down, grabbing coffee, chatting with each other and talking about this. It doesn't feel disconnected. We are connected together. We go home, okay? Or you can keep it who go home after a busy week, where we're not connected. So not connected with our kids, not spoken to our partners, and go to bed feeling guilty every night, running through thoughts at 3 a.m. Very good. By the way, again, this is Chris. Chris is a client who is very seasoned with content, so he understands how to bring thoughts into reality with his content. So this can spiral through drinking more alcohol, watching porn. Okay. And a lot of times, actually, yeah. A lot of times it ends up in a pattern that's too familiar. And then now we go back down the line and we include those as bullet points. Boom, bullet point number 1. Boom, bullet point number 2. Boom, bullet point number 3. Boom, bullet point number 4. So we include them as bullet points, because look at how easier the piece of content reads now. Even though, I get it. I did half of it is green, half of it is black, but the goal is to have it easy to read, easy to skim through. Okay. Here, I don't see this as needing to be present. So 1 second, just let me strike it. What I would do in this situation is, by the way, again, less is more sometimes. So every line has to pack a punch. So here we talked about like the stuff that they experience that it is very familiar. And here we can add, I know how, I know that speaking about those things might bring a lot of shame. Why is this one one second. No, I don't want it. Oh. Yeah, I know that speaking about those things might bring a lot of shame. And it's exactly the reason why I employ a lot of space. I employ very hard words. I give a lot of space in my coaching with zero judgment. A space where you let go, think out loud, make some gigantic breakthroughs. When you repress, hold in, and avoid deepest emotions, your body and business suffer. Okay, there's a disconnect here that I want you to see. A space where you let go, think out loud, and make some gigantic breakthroughs. Very positive light energy. And then, when you repress, hold in, avoid, your body suffers. So you're going from very light energy to very dark energy within the piece of content right now without actually needing to. So sometimes you should do it or you need to do it. But here, this doesn't have any place in the piece of content. So a space where you let go, think out loud, and make some gigantic breakthroughs. And look, I have been there many times. Why did I include the and look? This is called the transitional phase. I'm speaking with you out loud. I'm speaking with you on the streets. I just met you. We're grabbing coffee. I don't just throw sentences at you. I transition from one sentence to another. So, and look, I have been there many times. It's why I had to deal with anorexia and a whole host of emotional shit in my late teens. Okay, tell me more. Personal stories relate and resonate. How did you feel? Did you get picked on? What happened? So here, for example, you were like, okay, one second. A lot of emotional shit. What are those emotional shits? Let me show you an example. So this is my Facebook. I'm Lebanese, third world country. 7 years ago, I decided to launch an online business, blah, blah, blah. No one believed in me. Criticism was thrown at me. Limiting beliefs were spat at me. And in the middle of it all, I had to see my parents divorce and lose my father. So see the difference between that and I had an anorexia and I had a lot of emotions to deal with. No, give them. Take my example. Okay, here we went into transition into your clients. The transition is very harsh. It's important, but it's very harsh. So here's what I would do. And it's not just us. A lot of entrepreneurs deal with this emotional, etc. So whatever you want to call it. Here, don't use the word suppression. Do not use the word suppression. The only reason I'm saying that is because everyone is familiar with it. Use words that people right now are like, oh, he knows something that I don't know. So for example, it's not just us. A lot of entrepreneurs deal with, I'm gonna throw something random, gut viruses and gut issues because of emotional suppression, because of stress that their business has created and they have not dealt with. And it's like, oh shit, that's so accurate. This is what you want. Take my client Simon, for example. Okay, he came to me, we started working together. I'm going to say something that might trigger some people right now. But I'm reading the Bible lately. And every time someone meets someone else, he came onto her and he came onto her, and I felt like right now this is he came onto me. It's like, no, like we started working together. Together. Whilst under investigation from the fourth doctor. Okay, the easiest thing that you can do, fourth. People are used to reading numbers. Into his intense stomach pains and sickness. He had lost his purpose. He wasn't building the business he had wanted. Okay, great. I like those. But why do you make it harder to read? Bullet points. Okay. Now, here's what I would invite you to do. He had lost his purpose. What does that mean? Does he wake up not knowing what to do, just feeling like, another day? Wasn't building the business he wanted. What does that mean? And was never present at home. What does that mean? He had fights with his wife. His children were wanting their dad to be around and he wasn't. What does that mean? Think about that. So, examples. I like to always compare that with example like here. Waking up anxious and winging it daily. Starting each month at 0. Secretly resenting my business, the one that I once loved. So go into expression, not statements. Those are statements. Include expressions. Do not state, express. Here's something that everyone needs to understand when it comes to content. Content should invoke the logic and the emotion at the same time. So by you stating, not expressing, what is happening is that you're taking a piece of content and you're turning it into a very logical frame. Someone can read it, they can resonate with it, but they won't feel it. You want them to feel it. So when you put expressions, they will feel it. Unfortunately, Simon's experience wasn't unique. After any serious condition we were ruled out, we found that his internalized pain was emotionally driven. Internalized pain. We found that his stomach pain, so stomach and body pain, was emotionally driven. This is a small comment that I'm gonna make that will break or make any piece of content, and it's the following. So many pieces of content fall flat on their face just because they cannot keep a consistent momentum in the ideas. So you start a piece of content talking about something and then you move into something else completely. And it's not just you, it's everyone. So you were talking about stomach pain and now we moved into something else, which is internalized pain. Wait a second. A minute ago we were talking about stomach pain. Link. The body keeps score of your life and his was presenting in this area. In this which area? So I read the piece of content and I was confused. Clarify this. Through deep somatic release and changing the way he held onto his emotion, big shifts started to take place after running through my various subconscious exercises. Okay. Amazing piece of content. Amazing piece of content. And this is where all of us fall when we start to express our work. You take deep, life-changing, extremely emotional work, cool, and you just make it so basic that people are like, that's it, easy, I could get it on YouTube. We don't want that. So here's what you can talk about. So, in X amount of days, we released all of that pain and Simon got Y. So what is the outcome that he achieved? We did that through a method that I studied in X, where did you study this? So for example, I have a client who studied with monks and his methods came from monks. So it's so cool to say like we did that through a method that I studied with monks in a Shaolin temple. And it's like, he knows something that we don't know. I can't just go Google it. Like, what is this? It's called somatic rhythms, where we use where we dive into deep states of meditation, where I take him into deep states of meditation and release all of his traumatic and deep held emotions for him. So now, even by saying that, I removed a lot of the work. Rather than telling them, you have to do this and you have to do that and you have to do this, here's like, no. I went in, I removed it. We worked on developing. Then actually no, and we didn't stop here. After he released all of the extra weight that has been pushing him and his business down, we worked on developing Simon's new identity. Awesome, but again, the only comment that I have, I like those. Make them expressive and bullet points. That's the only comment that I have. The results, Simon, just take that, man. Just take that, man. Like, keep it easy to read, please. Yeah, amazing. The results, Simon's stomach issues disappeared completely after 20 years of pain. Completely in X. How much time? In X. After 20 years of pain, he bought a new house. Oh shit. That's such a fucking cool event for him to buy a house because of your work. Amazing. After receiving unexpected large sums of money, zero social anxiety, awesome total business and work clarity. So khalas, like a date nights with his wife. This kills the mood. So every single one is like boom, 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 and the business clarity. It's like, what the fuck? Like you kill the mood. Khalas, remove it. Absorbing and trying to deal with his deep emotion too long. He knew he was ready. He was actually terrified of having spent money on something that he wasn't necessarily tangible. He now wants to come back. Okay, this. Okay, now we talked about. Okay, something about this doesn't really sit well with me, which is we talked about his wins. Now, usually, khalas, when we talk about a story and we tell the story of a client and we express everything that we had to express, I would shift gears immediately. I would bring that back to the reader. So what I would do, actually what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna write it here in the space over here. Oh shit, where are we? Type, let's do this. So now I'm gonna stop suggesting and I'm gonna jump into editing. I think this should, why am I jumping pages, man? Okay, this is better. So here, what I would do is I would go back to the reader, so. And honestly, this might be you. You've been, sorry. Let me go back here. You've been ready to go to the next level in your business, relationship, and identity, but something has been holding you back, and you didn't quite know why, and you don't quite know why. You might have done X, Y, and Z, and still things didn't get solved. It's because most of the problems that entrepreneurs, it's because actually we give stats, 20% of the problems that entrepreneurs deal with are systems, and 80% are mindset and emotional regulation. Take that from a man who made X. So what is the number of money that you have made in business, and who would have never been able to achieve anything if it wasn't for the mindset work. Now I'm calling it mindset work, you can call it something else like deep somatic, whatever it is. Cool. And now if you're interested in learning how, such a weak call to action. So please go back to, so here's, by the way, this is the call to action mastery framework that I give to every single person that works with me. Anyway, so here's what you do. On that note, deep somatic, deep subconscious, release, and identity rebuilds are part of what I do in my mentorship, whatever. By the way, please customize this as much as you can. But this is call to action mastery. This is where most of us fall, in the call to action. Because we build up and then we're like, if you're interested, message me. I'm like, who, how, why? Why did you build, and then you drop the ball? Don't drop it, keep it high. This is something that I learned from Alex Hormozy. He's like, go hard from the beginning till the end. Don't go hard and then get soft. So deep subconscious release and identity rebuilds are part of what I do in my mentorship, where I help X achieve Y. We also work on 1, 2, 3. If that's something that you like to work on and you're ready to break through, if you're posting this on LinkedIn, you can add the link. If you're posting this on Facebook, link in comments. Cool? So now we just took, this is a middle of the funnel piece of content. Deep, emotional, expressive. Cool? Anyway, post number 2. By the way, if I decide to post this publicly, this is going to be posted as a training module too. So what you need to understand is we're trying, every time when I work with a client, we always do middle of the funnel, top of funnel, bottom of the funnel variations of content. Top of funnel, bring awareness to your world. Middle of the funnel, nurture, convert this awareness. Bottom of the funnel, make them clients fundamentally. So you have to have structure in your weekly content. So Tuesday, top of funnel, confessions of a high performer who can switch off. Yep, that's me. Or I should say, that was me. I'm still a work of progress. Okay, this is a general one. I achieved X and still Oh no. I had X. So what did you have, for example? I had a $500,000 house, a $2 million car, and I couldn't switch off. Why? Because first, numbers are very sexy. Second, you start with authority. Third, people would be like, oh shit, let me read that. That's it. Curiosity. Yep, that's me. Or should I say that was me? Okay, people don't really need to, like, posts are not your therapy journal, I would say. So you don't really need to tell people, like, I'm still working on this or I'm still working on that. Only write content about the stuff that you have worked on and achieved, okay? This has another completely psychological triggers behind it, which we're not gonna cover. Uh, we all are, and don't let anyone tell you different, because they're spouting bollocks. But I've learned to play the game better for my own sanity. I'm pretty sure that I've ended up in the nut house if I have carried on. A nurse told me 15 years ago a nurse told me, so switch and add numbers 15. If I didn't stop, I'd end up there. Okay, switch those two sentences even. Switch sentences. Tenses. So for example, 15 years ago, a nurse told me blah blah blah, and if I didn't solve this, I'd end up in a nut house. Or I had zero idea by rewiring how my brain I had zero idea that by rewiring how my brain worked and healing my past trauma, I would literally become a different person. I'm gonna introduce you to one of the greatest things that you could ever have right now, which is ChatGPT. Go to it. This sentence structure is hard to read. Simplify. Now we take the same sentence, we drop it over here. That's it. To someone new, that's it. Because it was very hard and very harsh to read. So I had zero idea about rewiring. It's like, no, just I never realized that rewiring my mind. Just keep it simple. You can even drop an entire post into ChatGPT and tell it just simplify it for me. Back then, I didn't need another strategy. I needed to understand my own mind. I didn't realize I was addicted to chaos, not work. What does that look like? What does that look like? What does that look like? So here what I would add is bullet point number 1. I used to wake up wanting to work. I used to do this. I used to do that. So fundamentally, like, just expressive bullet points, I would say. Through intense research, I'm a bit of a geek. I'm working with hundreds of people. I now implemented my own deep scientific protocols, ones that stop overthinking, healing, new productivity. Okay, awesome. I'm gonna review those later on because I'm not gonna have like this video go on for like 2 hours fundamentally. But what I want you to take is take the edits that we've done over here, the principles, and implement them on the second middle of the funnel post. So we could actually review something that has been edited and audited a little bit. And just one thing here, what I would actually add, confession. 2 points. I had X and I couldn't switch off. So that's cool. I like this hook. Anyway, hopefully this was valuable for you. And if I decide to post this publicly, hopefully this was valuable for everyone. This is stuff that I really enjoy doing, and I do it for my mentorship client, doing deep dives, reviews of content, just breaking everything down to help you actually write content that gets clients. And over time, when you master that, you can write less and make much. much, 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 much more. More than you could ever imagine. Bye bye.